The basic quest of the physics is unification of all forces. As we mentioned in ancient times by the Indian science, the every science end at a point where they are leading to unification, whether it is physics or chemistry or any other science. Again and again this was mentioned, and it is also observed in lectures of Swami Vivekananda. So here physics is mentioning the quest of the physics is to find the unification of all the forces. Isaac Newton unified the terrestrial and celestial domains under the common law of gravitation, which can be applied either for the terrestrial bodies or for the celestial bodies. The experimental discoveries of Oersted and Faraday, the discoveries made by these two scientists showed that the electricity and magnetism, these two phenomena are inseparable. Wherever you find the electricity, there you find the magnetism. Wherever you observe the magnetism, there you can find the electricity. These two are inseparable. Maxwell went a step ahead and said, he unified the electric and magnetic forces and said electromagnetism. He unified this electromagnetism and optics. How Maxwell unified electromagnetism and optics? He simply mentioned when Newton said light has particle nature, and when Christian Huygens said light has wave nature, Maxwell said light has particle and wave nature. Light is an electromagnetic wave. So he combined two fields. One is optics and the second one is electromagnetism. So he combined the two fields and said light is an electromagnetic wave. And even Einstein wanted to go one step ahead. He wanted to prove, he wanted to unify the gravitation force and electromagnetic force, but he did not succeed in his short span of life. But still scientists are trying to unify all the forces. In recent days, scientists tried to unify the electromagnetic force and the weak nuclear force, which is appearing because the beta decay of the nucleus. They unified these two forces and called as electro-weak force, which is the unification of electromagnetic force and weak nuclear force. And there were many attempts done to unify different other forces, like this electro-weak force and gravitation force, and many other. Scientists wanted to unify gravitation force with many other fundamental forces, but their theories were inconclusive as of now. We will now see some of milestones in the progress towards the unification of forces in the nature. Isaac Newton, in 1687, he unified the celestial and terrestrial mechanics and showed that the same laws of motion and the law of gravitation, which is applicable in the terrestrial level, can also be applicable at the celestial level. If the earth experiences the gravitation force on an object near to it, similarly sun also experiences the gravitation force on an object near to it. Similarly, other stars also experience the gravitation force. So when we throw a object on the other stars, they will also experience a gravitation force. They will also experience the same force experienced by the earth. This is the unification of celestial and terrestrial mechanics that was done in 1687. And in 1820, the scientist named Hans Christian Oersted, he showed that the electricity and magnetic phenomena, they are inseparable. The electricity and magnetism inseparable. And along with another scientist named Michael Faraday, they unified the electromagnetism. And then came James Clerk Maxwell in 1873. He unified the electricity and magnetism, which is called as electromagnetism, and he unified these two with the optics and showed that light is an electromagnetic wave in 1873 after the Michael Faraday and Christian Ørsted. And in 1979, these three scientists, Sheldon Glashow, Abdus Salam, Steven Weinberg, they showed that the weak nuclear force, whatever we are calling, which is observed because of the beta decay from the nucleus, and the electromagnetic force could be viewed as a different aspects of single electroweak force. Means he mentioned these two are not different in nature. Even though they appear like different, the weak nuclear force and electromagnetic force, even though they are appearing as different, but in the fundamental aspects, they are different force, they are different manifestations of single electroweak force. That single electroweak force at one circumstances, it is manifesting as electromagnetic force. In one circumstance, it is manifesting as weak nuclear force. These two forces can be combined, these two forces can be unified, and it can be called as electroweak force. And in 1984, a scientist named Carlo Rubbia and another scientist named Simon Vandermeer, they experimentally verified the the theory of electroweak force, and they mentioned as whatever Steven Weinberg, Abdus Salam, and Sheldon Glashow mentioned in 1979, that is absolutely correct. The electromagnetic force and the weak nuclear force are the manifestations of the single electroweak force. They are different aspects of that single electroweak force.